In a world painted with shades of right and wrong, there lived two brothers, Leo and Marcus. Leo was celebrated throughout the land for his grand gestures of charity. He built shelters for the homeless, funded wells in dry villages, and his name was sung in the streets. Marcus, on the other hand, lived a simple life. He was a quiet farmer, and his acts of kindness were small, almost invisible. He would leave a basket of fresh vegetables on a struggling neighbor's doorstep, mend a child's broken toy, or simply sit with the lonely, offering a listening ear. His goodness wasn't loud, it was a gentle whisper in the wind. The people praised Leo. "He's the pillar of our community," they would say. "A truly righteous man." Marcus was often overlooked, seen merely as Leo's quiet, unassuming brother. Leo himself believed his grand deeds made him superior. He would often advise Marcus, "Brother, you must think bigger. Small acts are like single drops of rain in a vast ocean. They make no difference." Marcus would simply smile and continue his humble work, believing that every drop mattered. One day a decree came from the heavens, carried on the wings of a golden eagle. It announced that the day of measurement was near. A celestial scale would appear in the city square to weigh the goodness of every soul. The one whose goodness weighed the most would receive a divine blessing, a gift of eternal light. The entire land buzzed with excitement and anticipation. Everyone was certain that Leo, the great philanthropist, would be the chosen one. Leo was confident. He spent the days leading up to the event recounting his major contributions. He had lists, scrolls detailing the exact amounts he had donated, the number of buildings he had erected. He polished his finest robes and prepared a speech ready to accept the honor he felt he so clearly deserved. Marcus, however, felt a sense of unease. He had no lists, no records. His acts of kindness were moments, feelings, shared glances of gratitude, things you couldn't write down or count. He feared his life's work would amount to nothing on the great scale. Finally, the day arrived. The sun shone brighter than ever before. In the center of the bustling square stood a magnificent scale, its beams crafted from pure moonlight and its pans from polished starlight. It shimmered with an otherworldly energy. A wise, ancient figure, the keeper of the scale, stood beside it. His voice echoed through the silent crowd, "Let the measurement of goodness begin." One by one, people came forward. A wealthy merchant placed a bag of gold on the scale, representing his donation to the city temple. The scale barely moved. A respected leader listed his public achievements, and the scale dipped only slightly. The crowd grew restless. It seemed that the deeds they valued so highly held little weight in the eyes of the divine. Then it was Leo's turn. He walked confidently to the scale, the crowd cheering his name. He presented his long scrolls, detailing every grand gesture, every public donation. "I have given millions to the poor. I have built hospitals and schools," he declared. He placed the scrolls on the celestial pan. The scale dipped lower than it had for anyone else, but it was far from what he and everyone else had expected. A shadow of doubt crossed Leo's face. The crowd murmured in confusion. Was this all his celebrated goodness was worth? The keeper of the scale looked at him and said, "Grand deeds are seen by many, but the heart's true intention is seen only by the light. You gave, but did you feel? You built, but did you connect?" Leo was stunned into silence. He had seen his charity as transactions, as steps to build his reputation. The applause of the crowd had been his reward. He never stopped to know the names of the people he helped or to understand their struggles. Then the keeper called out, "Marcus." A path cleared as Marcus walked hesitantly towards the scale. He had nothing to place on it. He stood empty-handed, his head bowed. "I have no scrolls," No gold, he said softly. My deeds were small. I have nothing to offer. The keeper smiled gently. Your offerings are not in your hands, but in the hearts of others. As he spoke, a wondrous thing began to happen. A frail, elderly woman from the crowd stepped forward. When my husband passed, and I had no one, she said, her voice trembling with emotion, Marcus sat with me every day until my tears ran dry. He brought me warmth when my world was cold. As she spoke, a single, glowing orb of light, the size of a teardrop, floated from her heart and drifted onto Marcus's side of the scale. The pen dipped significantly. Then a young boy with a mended wooden horse ran up. I lost my favorite toy, and he carved me a new one, even better than the first. Another orb of light, bright with a child's pure joy, flew from the boy and landed on the scale. The pen sank lower. A farmer stepped up. During the great drought, when my crops failed, he shared his harvest with my family, asking for nothing in return. A light of gratitude, warm and golden, joined the others. One after another, people came forward. The neighbor who received vegetables, the traveler who was given shelter from a storm, the sad child who was told a funny story. Each memory of a simple, heartfelt act of kindness released a glowing orb of light. There were lights of comfort, lights of hope, lights of friendship, lights of shared laughter. Dozens, then hundreds of lights floated through the air, a constellation of human connection, all converging on Marcus's side of the scale. The pan sank lower and lower, weighed down by the immense, collective power of these small, genuine acts of love. Leo watched, his eyes wide with disbelief and dawning understanding. His grand gestures, performed for show or light as air compared to the profound weight of his brother's quiet compassion. The scale, now heavily tilted, shone with a blinding, beautiful light. Marcus stood, surrounded by the glow, a humble farmer whose goodness was not measured in gold or stone, but in the love he had planted in the hearts of others. The keeper of the scale's voice rang out, filled with warmth. Goodness is not the size of the act, but the depth of the love with which it is done. It is not found in the applause of a crowd, but in the silent gratitude of a single soul. This is the true measure. The world had been shown a profound truth that day. True worth isn't in what you own or what you build, but in the unseen impact you have on others. It's in the helping hand, the comforting word, the shared moment. These are the treasures that tip the scales of eternity. So live with kindness, not for recognition, but because it is the most powerful and beautiful light we can bring into this world. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please share it with others, and don't forget to follow our channel for more stories that inspire.